Who's there?
Nay, answer me. Stand and unfold yourself.
Friends to this ground.
Long live the king!
Welcome, Horatio. Welcome, good Marcellus.
Have you had a quiet guard?
Not a mouse stirring.
Has this thing appeared again tonight?
I have seen nothing.
Horatio says 'tis but our fantasy, and will not let belief take hold of her. Therefore, I have entreated her along with us to watch the minutes of this night, that if again this apparition may come, she may approve our eyes and speak to it.
Tush, tush, 'twill not appear.
Sit down a while.
Peace, break thee off. Look where it comes again.
In the same figure, like the king that's dead.
Thou art a scholar, speak to it, Horatio.
What art thou that usurpest this time of night, together with that fair and warlike form in which the majesty of buried Denmark did sometimes march? By heaven, I charge thee, speak!
It is offended.
See, it stalks away.
Stay! Speak! Speak, I charge thee, speak!
'Tis gone and will not answer.
How now, Horatio? You tremble and look pale. Is not this something more than fantasy?
Is it not like the king?
As thou art to thyself. 'Tis strange.
Thus, twice before, and jump at this dead hour, with martial stalk hath he gone by our watch.
In what particular thought to work I know not. But, in the gross and scope of my opinion, this bodes some strange eruption to our state.
Yet of Hamlet, our dear brother's death, the memory be green, and that it us befitted to bear our hearts in grief, and our whole kingdom to be contracted in one brow of woe. Yet so far hath discretion fought with nature, that we with wisest sorrow think on him, together with remembrance of ourselves. Therefore, our sometime sister, now our queen, the imperial jointress to this warlike state, have we as 'twere with a defeated joy, and an auspicious and one dropping eye, with mirth in funeral, and with dearth in marriage, in equal scale weighing delight and dole, taken to wife. Nor have we herein barred your better wisdoms, which have freely gone along with this affair along. For all our thanks. Now, Laertes, what's the news with you? You told us of some suit. What is it, Laertes? What wouldst thou have?
Dread, my lord, your leave and favour to return to France.
Have you your mother's leave? What says Polonius?
He hath, my lord. I do beseech you, give him leave to go.
Oh, take thy fair hour, Laertes. Time be thine, and thy best graces, spend it at thy will. But
My
now,
lord.
my cousin Hamlet, and my child.
A little more than king and less than kind.
How is it that the clouds still hang on you?
Good Hamlet, cast thy knighted colour off, and let thine eye look like a friend on Denmark. Do not forever with thy veiled lids seek for thy noble father in the dust. Thou knowest 'tis common. All that lives must die, passing through nature to eternity.
Aye, madam, it is common.
If it be, why seem it so particular with thee?
Seems, madam, nay, it is. I know not seems.
It is sweet and commendable in your nature, Hamlet, to give these mourning duties to your father. But you must know your father lost a father, and that father lost his. And the survivor bound in filial obligation for some time to do obsequious sorrow. But to persevere in obstinate concealment is a course of impious stubbornness, is faint-hearted grief. We pray you, throw to earth its unprevailing woe, and think of us as of a father. Or let the world take note you are the most immediate to our throne, and with no less nobility of love than that which dearest father bears his heir do I impart toward you. For your intent in going back to school in it is most retrograde to our desire, and we beseech you to remain here in the cheer and comfort of our eye. Our chiefest courtier, cousin, and our daughter.
Oh, let not thy mother lose her prayers, Hamlet. I pray thee, stay with us. Go not to Wittenberg.
I shall in all my best obey you, madam.
Why, 'tis a loving and a fair reply. Be as ourself in Denmark. Madam, come.
Oh, that this too solid flesh would melt, thaw, and resolve itself into a dew, or that the everlasting had not fixed his cannon against self-slaughter. Oh God, how weary, stale, flat, and unprofitable seemed to me all the uses of this world. Fay on it, oh Fay! 'Tis unweeded garden that grows to seed. Things rank and gross in nature possess it merely, that it should come to this. But 2 months dead. Nay, not so much, not 2. So excellent a king that was, to this Hyperion 'twas satyr. So loving to my mother, that he might not beteem the winds of heaven visit her face too roughly. Heaven and earth, must I remember? Why, she would hang on him as if increase of appetite had grown by what it fed on, and yet within a month, let me not think on it. Frailty, thy name is woman. A little month, or these shoes were old with which she followed my poor father. Like Niobe, all tears. Why she, even she, oh God! A beast that wants discourse for reason would have mourned longer. Married with mine uncle. My father's brother, but no more like my father than I to Hercules. Within a month, or yet the salt of most unrighteous tears hath left the flushing in her galled eyes. She married. Most wicked speed to post with such dexterity to incestuous sheets.
Hail to your ladyship.
I'm glad to see you well, Horatio. Or do I forget myself?
The same, my lady, and your poor servant ever.
What is your affair in Elsinore? We'll teach you to drink deep ere you depart.
My lady, I came to see your father's funeral.
I prithee, do not mock me, fellow student. I think it was my mother's wedding.
Indeed, my lady, it followed hard upon.
Thrift, Horatio. The funeral baked meats did coldly furnish forth the marriage tables. My father, methinks I see my father.
Where, my lady?
In my mind's eye, Horatio.
My lady, I think I saw him yesternight.
Saw who?
My lady, the king, your father.
The king, my father.
Season your admiration for a while with an attent ear, till I may deliver upon the witness of these gentlemen this marvel to you.
For God's love, let me hear.
My necessaries are embarked. Farewell. And sister, as the winds give benefit and convoy is assistant, do not sleep, but let me hear from you.
Do you doubt that?
For Hamlet, and the trifling of her favor, hold it a fashion and a toy in blood, a violet in the youth of primy nature, forward, not permanent, sweet, not lasting, the perfume and suppliance of a minute, no more.
No more but so.
Think it no more. Perhaps she loves you now, and now no soil nor coddle doth besmirch the virtue of her will, but you must fear. Her greatness weighed, her will is not her own, for she herself is subject to her birth. She may not, as unvalued persons do, carve for herself. For on her choice depends the safety and health of this whole state. Then weigh what loss honor your may sustain, if with too creed an ear you list her songs, or lose your heart, or your chaste treasure open to her unmaster's importunity. Fear it, Ophelia. Fear it, my dear sister, and keep you in the rear of your affection, out of the shot, and the danger of desire.
I shall the effect of this good lesson keep as watchman to my heart.
I stay too long, but here my mother comes.
Yet here, Laertes, aboard, for shame, you are stayed for. Oh, there, my blessing with thee. And these few precepts in thy memory see thou character. Give thy thought no tongue, nor any unproportioned thought his act. Be thou familiar, but by no means vulgar. Give every man thy ear, but few thy voice. Take each man's censure, but reserve thy judgment. Costly thy habit as thy purse can buy, but not expressed in fancy, rich, not gaudy, for the apparel oft proclaims the man. Neither a borrower nor a lender be, for loan oft loses both itself and thrift, and borrowing dulls the edge of husbandry. Thou canst not then be false to any man. There, farewell, my blessing with thee.
Most humbly do I take my leave, my lady.
The time invites you. Go, your servants tend.
Farewell, Ophelia, and remember well what I have said to you.
'Tis in my memory locked, and you yourself shall keep the key of it.
The air by Trudely, what hour now?
I think it lacks of 12.
No, it is struck.
Indeed? I heard it not. Then draws near the season wherein the spirit held his wont to walk. Look, it comes!
Angels and ministers of grace defend us. King, Father, Royal Dane, oh, answer me. Let me not burst in ignorance, but tell why thy canonized bones, hearsed in death, have burst their cerements. Why the sepulchre wherein we saw thee quietly inurned hath oped its ponderous and marble jaws to cast thee up again.
It beckons you to go away with it.
Do not go.
No, by no means.
It will not speak. Then I will follow it.
Do not, my lady.
Why? What should be the fear? I do not set my life on a pin's feet.
What if it tempt you toward the flood, my lady, and there assume some other horrible form which might deprive your sovereignty of reason and draw you into madness?
It waves me still. Go on. I'll follow thee.
You shall not go, my lady.
Hold off your hands.
Be ruled, you shall not.
Unhand me! By heaven, I'll make a ghost of any that lets me. I say away. Go on. I'll follow thee. Whither till thou lead me? Speak, I'll go no further.
My hour is almost come, when I to sulphurous and tormenting flames must render up myself. Pity me not, but lend thy serious hearing to what I shall unfold.
Speak, I am bound to hear.
If thou didst ever thy dear father love, revenge his foul and most unnatural murder.
Murder?
Murder most foul, as in the best it is, but this most foul, strange, and unnatural.
Haste me to know it, that I with wings as swift as meditation or the thoughts of love may sweep to my revenge.
Given out that sleeping in my orchard a serpent stung me, till the whole ear of the mouth is by a forged process of my death rankly abused. But know, thou noble youth, the serpent that did sting thy father's life now wears his crown.
My prophetic soul, my uncle!
Aye, that incestuous, that adulterate beast with witchcraft of his witch, and traitorous gifts won to his shameful lust, the will of my most seeming virtuous queen. But soft methinks I scant the morning air. If let me be, sleeping within my orchard, my custom always of the afternoon, upon my secure hour thy uncle stole with juice of cursed Lebanon in a vial, and in the porches of my ears did pour the leprous distilment, whose effect holds such affinity with blood of man, that swift as quicksilver it courses through the natural gates and alleys of the body, and with a sudden vigour it doth it and turn like eager droppings into milk, the thin and wholesome blood. Thus was I, sleeping by a brother's hand of life, of crown, of queen, at once dispatched, cut off even the blossoms of my sin, unhouselled, disappointed, unannaled, no reckoning made, but sent my account with all my imperfections on my head. Oh, horrible, horrible, most horrible. Thou hast nature in thee, bear it not. Let not the royal bed of Denmark be a couch for luxury and damned incest. But howsoever thou pursuest this act, taint not thy mind, nor let thy soul contrive against thy mother, Lord. Leave her to heaven, to those thorns that in her bosom lodge to prick and sting her. Fare thee well. You, Hamlet, remember me.
I, poor ghost. While memory holds a seat in this distracted globe, remember thee. Yea, from the table of my memory I'll wipe away all trivial found records, and thy commandment all alone shall live between the book and volume of my brain, unmixed and with baser manner. Yea, by heaven, O most pernicious woman! O villain, villain, smiling, damned villain!
How now, Ophelia? What's the matter?
Alas, my lady, I've been so frightened.
With what?
My lady, as I was sewing in my chamber, Lady Hamlet, with her doublet all embraced, pale as her shirt, her knees knocking each other, and with a look so piteous and perpet, as if she had been lucid out of hell to speak of horrors, she comes before me.
Mad for thy love?
Oh, my lady, I do not know, but truly I do fear it.
What said she?
She took me by the wrist and held me hard, and she goes to the length of all her arm, and with her other hand thus over her brow, and falls to such perusal of my face as she would draw it. Long stayed she so. At last, a little shaking of mine arm, and thrice her head thus waving up and down, and she raised a sigh so piteous and profound as if it seemed to shatter all her bulk and end her being. Well, that done, she lets me go. And with her head over her shoulder, turned she seemed to find her way without her eyes. For out o' doors she went without their help, and to the last spended their light on me.
Come, go with me. I will go seek the king. This must be known.
Welcome, dear Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. Something you have heard of Hamlet's transformation. What it should be more than her father's death that has thus put her so much from the understanding of herself, I cannot dream of. I entreat you both that being of such young days brought up with her, that you vouchsafe your rest here in our court some little time, so by your companies to draw her on to pleasures, and to gather so much as from occasion you may glean, whether aught to us unknown afflict her thus, that opened lies within our remedy.
For the supply and profit of our hope, Your visitation shall receive such thanks as fits a king's remembrance.
We both obey.
I beseech you instantly to visit my too much changed daughter.
And make our presence and our practices pleasant and helpful to her.
Aye, amen.
My good liege, I do think that I have found the very cause of Hamlet's lunacy.
Oh, speak of that. That do I long to hear.
Oh, I doubt it is no other but the main, her father's death and our hasty marriage.
I will be brief. Your noble heir is mad. Mad call it I, for to define true madness, what is it but to be nothing else but mad?
More matter with less art.
Madam, I swear I use no art at all. That she is mad, 'tis true. 'Tis true, 'tis pity. Mad let us grant her then, and now remains that we find out the cause of this effect. I have a daughter, have while she is mine, who in her duty and obedience mark hath given me this. Now gather and surmise. To the celestial and my soul's idol, the most beautified Ophelia.
Came this from Hamlet to her?
Good madam, stay a while, I will be faithful. Doubt thou the stars are fire, doubt that the sun doth move, doubt truth to be a liar, but never doubt I love. Hamlet. This in obedience hath my daughter showed me, and more above hath her solicitings as they fell out by time, by means and place, all given to mine ear.
How hath she received this love?
To my young mistress thus I did bespeak. Lady Hamlet is a royal, out of thy sphere. This must not be. And then I precepts gave her that she should lock herself from this resort, admit no messengers, receive no tokens. And Hamlet, repulsed, a short tale to make, fell into a sadness, then into a fast, thence to a watch, and by this declension into the madness wherein she now moves.
You think 'tis this?
It may be, very likely.
Hath there been such a time, I'd faith know that I have positively said 'tis so when it proved otherwise?
Not that I know. How may we try it further?
You know, sometimes she walks for hours in the lobby.
So she does indeed.
At such a time, I'll loose my daughter to her, and be you and I behind an arras then, mark the encounter. If she love her not, and she not from her reason fawn thereon, let me be no assistant for estate, but keep a farm and carters.
We will try it.
My honored lady.
My most dear lady.
My excellent good friends, how dost thou, Guildenstern? Ah, Rosencrantz, how do ye both?
As the indifferent children of the earth.
Happy in that we are not over happy. On fortune's cap, we are not the very button.
Nor the soles of her shoe.
Neither, my lady.
What make you at Elsinore?
To visit you, my lady, no other occasion.
Were you sent for? Is it your own inclining? Is it a free visitation? Come, deal justly with me. Come, nay, speak.
What should we say, milady?
Why, anything but to the purpose. Were you sent for? And there is a kind of confession in your looks which your modesties have not craft enough to color. I know the good king and queen have sent for you.
To what end, my lady?
That you must teach me. But let me conjure you by the rights of our fellowship, by the constancy of our youth, be even and direct with me, whether you were sent for or no.
What say you?
My lady, we were sent for.
I will tell you why. So shall my anticipation prevent your discovery, and your secret to the king and queen moult no feather. I have of late, but wherefore I know not, lost all my mirth, forgot all custom of exercises, and indeed it goes so heavily with my disposition that this goodly frame, the earth, seems to me a sterile promontory. What a piece of work is man, how noble in reason, how infinite in faculties, in form and moving, how express and admirable in action, how like an angel in apprehension, how like a god. The beauty of the world, the paragon of animals, and yet to me, what is this quintessence of dust? Man's delight, not me. No, no woman neither. Though you're smiling, you may seem to say so.
My lady, there was no such stuff in my thoughts.
My good friends, you are welcome to Elsinore. You are welcome. But my uncle, father, and aunt mother are deceived.
In what, my dear lady?
I am but bad, north, northwest. When the wind is southerly, I know a hawk from a handsaw.
Sweet Gertrude, leave us, for we have closely sent for Hamlet hither, that she, as 'twere by accident, may here affront Ophelia. The mother and myself will so bestow ourselves that, seeing, unseen, we may of their encounter frankly judge, and gather by her, as she is behaved, if it be the affliction of her love, or no, that thus she suffers for.
I shall obey. And for your part, Ophelia, I do wish that your good beauties be the happy cause of Hamlet's wildness. So shall I hope your virtues will bring her to her wonted way again.
Madam, I wish it may.
Ophelia, walk you here. Gracious, so please you, we will bestow ourselves. Yet read on this book. That show of such an exercise may color your loneliness. I hear her coming. Let's withdraw, my lord.
To be or not to be? That is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against the sea of troubles, and by opposing end them, to die, to sleep no more, and by a sleep to say we end the heartache and the thousand natural shocks that flesh is heir to. 'Tis a consummation devoutly to be wished, to die, to sleep, perchance to dream. Aye, there's the rub, for in that sleep of death what dreams may come, when we have shuffled off this mortal coil, must give us pause.
Good, my lady. How does your honor for this many a day?
I humbly thank you. Well.
My lady, I have remembrances of yours that I have longed to redeliver. I pray you now receive them.
No, not I never gave you aught.
My honored lady, you know right well you did. There, my lady.
Are you honest?
My lady?
Are you fair?
What means, your ladyship?
That if you be honest and fair, your honesty should admit no discourse to your beauty.
Could beauty, my lady, have better commerce than with honesty?
Aye, truly, for the power of beauty will sooner transform honesty from that which is to a bard than the force of honesty can translate beauty into his likeness. This was sometime a paradox, but now the time gives it proof. I did love you once.
Indeed, my lady. You made me believe so.
You should not have believed me. For virtue cannot so inoculate our old stock, but we shall relish of it. I loved you not.
I was the more deceived.
Get thee to a nunnery. Why wouldst thou be a breeder of sinners? I am myself indifferent, honest, but yet I could accuse me of such things that it were better my mother had not borne me. We are arrant knaves, all. Believe none of us. Go thy ways to a nunnery. Where is your mother?
At home, my lady.
Let the doors be shut upon her, that she may play the fool nowhere but in its own house. Farewell.
Oh, help her, you sweet heavens.
Get thee to a nunnery. Go, farewell, or if thou wilt needs marry, marry a fool. For the wise know well enough what monsters you make of them. To a nunnery, go, and quickly too. Farewell.
Oh, heavenly powers, restore her.
God hath given you one face, and you make yourselves another. Go to. I'll make no more on it. We will have no more marriages. Those that are married already, all but one, shall live. The rest shall keep as they are. To a nunnery, go.
Oh, what a noble mind here is overthrown.
Love, their affections do not that way tend, nor what she spake, though it lacked form a little, was not like madness. There's something in her soul, o'er which her melancholy sits on brood. I do doubt the hatch and the disclose will be some danger. For which to prevent, she shall with speed to England. What think you on't?
It shall do well. But yet do I believe the origin and commencement of her grief sprung from neglected love. How now, Ophelia? You need not tell us what Lady Hamlet said. We heard it all. My lord, do as you please, but let her queen mother all alone entreat her to show her grief. Let her be round with her, and I'll be placed, so please you, in the ear of all their conferences. If she find her not, to England send her, or confine her where your wisdom best shall think.
It shall be so. Madness in great ones must not unwatched go.
Good, my lady. Vouchsafe me a word with you. The queen, your mother, in most great affliction of spirit, hath sent me to you.
Your behavior hath struck her into amazement and admiration.
A wonderful offspring that can so astonish a mother. But is there no sequel at the heels of this mother's admiration?
She desires to speak with you in her closet ere you go to bed.
We shall obey. Were she 10 times our mother. Have you any further trade with us?
My lady, you once did love me.
And so I do still, by these pickers and stealers.
Good my lady, what is your cause of distemper? You do surely bar the door upon your own liberty if you deny your griefs to your friend.
Will you play upon this pipe?
My lady, I cannot.
I pray you.
Believe me, I cannot.
I do beseech you.
I know no touch of it, my lady.
'Tis as easy as lying. Govern these ventages with your fingers and thumb. Give it a breath with your mouth, and it will discourse most eloquent music. Look you, these are the stops.
But these cannot I command to any utterance of harmony. I have not the skill.
Why? Look you now how unworthy a thing you make of me. You would play upon me? You would seem to know my stops? You would pluck out the heart of my mystery? You would sound me from my lowest note to the top of my compass, and there is much music, excellent voice in this little organ, and yet you cannot make it speak. It's blood. Do you think I am easier to be played on than a pipe? Call me what instrument you will, though you can fret me, you cannot play upon me.
I like her not, nor stands it safe with us to let this madness rage. Therefore prepare you, and by your commission will forthwith dispatch and she to England shall go along with you.
We will haste us.
My lord, she's going to her mother's closet. Behind the arras, I'll convey myself to hear the process. I warrant you, she'll tax her home. I'll call upon you ere you go to bed and tell you what I know.
Thanks, dear my lady. Oh, my offence is rank. It smells to heaven. It had the primal eldest curse upon it. A brother murdered. What if this cursed hand were thicker than itself with brother's blood? Is there not rain enough in the sweet heavens to wash it white as snow? Oh, what form of prayer can serve my turn? Forgive my foul murder! That cannot be, since I am still possessed of those effects for which I did the murder. My crown, my own ambition, and my queen. May one be pardoned and reclaim the offence? Oh, wretched state! Oh, bosom, black as death! Oh, limed soul, that struggling to be free, art more engaged. Help, angels, make a say. Bow, stubborn knees. All may be well.
Now, I might do it. Now he is praying, and so he goes to heaven. Am I then revenged? To take him in the purging of his soul when he is fit and seasoned for his passage? No, up sword, and know not thou a more horror tent, when he is drunk asleep, or in his rage, or in the incestuous pleasure of his bed, gaming, swearing, or about some act that hath no relish of salvation in it, then trip him, and that his heels may kick at heaven, and that his soul may be as damned and black as hell whereto it goes.
She will come straight. Look you, lay home to her, tell her her pranks have been too broad to bear with, and that your grace shall speak to her angrily.
I'll warrant you. I'd fear me not.
Mother! Mother!
Withdraw. I hear her coming. Oh, Hamlet, thou hast thy father much offended.
Mother, you have my father much offended.
Come, come. You answer with an idle tongue.
Go, go, you answer with a wicked tongue.
Nay. Then I'll set those to you that can speak.
You will not go till I set you up a glass where you may see the inmost part of you.
What wilt thou do? Oh, thou wilt not murder me. Help! Help! Oh!
What? Help!
No,
Help! Oh! I am slain.
Oh! Oh! What hast thou done?
I know not. Is it the king?
Oh, what a rash and bloody deed is this.
Bloody deed. Almost as bad, good mother, as kill a king and marry with his brother.
As kill a king?
Aye, lady, 'twas my word. Leave wringing of your hands, peace. Sit down and let me wring your heart, for so I shall, if it be made of penetrable stuff. Look here upon this picture, and on this counterfeit presentment of two brothers. See what grace was seated on this brow. Hyperion curls, the front of Jove himself. And I, like Mars, to threaten and command a station like Harold Mercury, new lighted on a heavenly king's hill, a combination and a form indeed, where every god did seem to set his seal, to give the world assurance of a man. This was your husband. Look you now what follows. Here is your husband, like a mildewed ear, blasting his wholesome brother. Have you eyes? Could you on this fair mountain leave to feed and batten on this moor?
Oh, Hamlet. No, speak no more. These words like daggers enter in mine ears. No more, sweet Hamlet.
A murderer and a villain!
Oh.
A king of
No more!
scratches! Save me and hover over me with your wings, you heavenly guards. What would you, gracious figure?
Do not forget. This visitation is but to whet thy almost blunted purpose. Looked amazement on thy mother sits. Oh, step between her and her fighting soul. Speak to her, Hamlet.
How is it with you, lady?
Alas, how is it with you? That you do bend your eye on vacancy, and with the incorporeal air do hold discourse. Oh, whereon do you look?
On him. On him. Look you how pale he glares. Do you see nothing there?
Nothing at all.
Nor do you hear nothing?
No, nothing but ourselves.
Why, look you there! Look how he steals away my father and his habit as he lived! Look where he goes, even now out the portal!
Oh, this is the very coinage of your brain. This bodiless creation ecstasy is very cunning in.
Ecstasy! My pulse as yours doth temperately keep time, and makes as healthful music. It is not madness that I utter. Bring me to the test, and I the matter will reword, which madness will gamble from. Mother, for the love of grace, lay not the flattering unction to your soul, that not your trespass, but my madness speaks. It will but skin and film the ulcerous place, whilst rank corruption, mining all within, infects unseen. Confess yourself to heaven, repent what's past, avoid what is to come, and do not spread the compost on the weeds to make them rancor.
Oh, oh, Hamlet. Thou hast cleft my heart in twain.
Oh, throw away the worser part of it, and live the purer with the other half. Go do not to mine uncle's bed. Assume a virtue. If you have it not, refrain tonight. And that shall lend a kind of easiness to the next abstinence, the next day more easy. For use almost can change the stamp of nature, and either curb the devil or throw him out with wondrous potency. For this same lady I do repent. But heaven hath pleased it so to punish me with this, and this with me, that I must be their scourge and minister. One word more, good lady. Let not the bloat king tempt you again to bed. Pinch wanton on your cheek, call you his mouse, and let him for a pair of reechy kisses, or paddling in your neck with his damned fingers, make you to revel all this matter out, that I essentially am not in madness, but mad in craft. 'Twere good you let him know, for who that's but a queen, fair, sober, wise, would from a padlock, from a bat, a gib, such dear concernings hide. Who would do so? No, in despite of sense and secrecy, unpeg the basket on the house's top, let the birds fly, and like the famous ape to try conclusions, in the basket creep and bring your own neck down.
Be thou assured, if words be made of breath, and breath of life, I have no life to breathe what thou hast said to me.
Alack! What noise is this? What's the matter?
Save yourself, my lord. Young Laertes in a righteous head o'erbears your offices. The rabble call him lord. They cry, choose we, Laertes shall be king. Caps, hands, and tongues applaud it to the clouds. Laertes shall be king, Laertes king.
The door's about.
Oh, thou vile king! Give me my mother!
Calmly. Good Laertes.
That drop of blood that's calm proclaims me bastard, cries cuckold to my father, brands the harlots even here between the chaste unsmirched brow of my true mother.
What is the cause, Laertes, that thy rebellion looks so giant-like?
Where is my mother?
Dead.
How came she dead? I'll not be juggled with. To hell allegiance, vows to the blackest devil, I dare damnation! Only I'll be revenged, most thoroughly for my mother.
Why, now you speak like a good child and a true gentleman. That I am guiltless of your mother's death, and am most sensibly in grief for it, it shall be as level to your judgment fierce as day does to your eye. For she, which hath your noble mother slain, pursued my life.
If that be so, then tell me why you have proceeded not against these feats, so crimeful and so capital in nature.
Oh, for two special reasons, which may to you perhaps seem much unsinewed, but yet to me they are strong. The queen, her mother, lives almost by her looks. The other motive, why to a public court I may not know, is the great love and general gender bear her, who, dipping all her faults in their affection, would, like the spring that turneth wood to stone, convert her guides to graces, so that my arrows, too slightly timbered for so loud a wind, would have reverted to my bow again, and not where I had aimed them.
And so have I a noble mother lost, a sister driven into desperate terms. But my revenge will come.
If it be so, Laertes, as how should it be so? How otherwise? Will you be ruled by me?
Aye, my lord. So you'll not overrule me to a peace.
To thine own peace. I will work her to exploit, now ripe in my device, under the which she shall not choose but fall. And for her death no wind shall breathe, but even her mother shall uncharge the practice and call it accident.
My lord, I will be ruled. The rather if you could devise it so that I might be the organ.
It falls right. You have been talked of since your travel much, and that in Hamlet's hearing, for a quality wherein they say you shine. Your sum of parts did not together pluck such envy from her as did that one.
What part is that, my lord?
2 months since, here was a gentleman of Normandy. He made confession of you. He gave you such a masterly report for art and exercise in your defense, and for your rapier most especially, that he cried out 'twould be a sight indeed one could match you. The scrimmers of their nation, he swore, had neither motion, guard, nor eye, if you oppose them. Sir, this report of his did Hamlet so envenom with her envy that she could nothing do but wish and beg your sudden coming, or to play with her.
What out of this, my lord?
Good Laertes, keep close within your chamber. Hamlet shall soon know that you are come home. We'll bring you in fine together and wager on your heads. She, being remiss and most generous and free from all contriving, will not peruse the foils, so that with a little ease, or with a little shuffling, you may choose a sword unpitted, and in pass of practice requite her for your mother.
I will do it. And for that purpose, I'll anoint my sword. I bade an unction of a mountebank, so mortal that but dip a knife in it, where it draws blood, no cataplasm so rare, collected from all simples that have virtue under the moon, can save the thing from death. This is but scratched withal. I'll touch my point with this contagion, that if I gall her slightly, it may be death.
When you are in motion and you are hot and dry, as make your bouts more violent to that end, and when she calls for drink, I'll have prepared her a chalice for the nonce, whereon but sipping, if she but chance escape your venom stuck, our purpose may hold there. How now, sweet queen?
One woe doth tread upon another's heel, so fast they follow. Your sister's drowned, Laertes.
Drowned? Where?
There is a willow grows aslant a brook that shows his hoar leaves in the glassy stream. And there with fantastic garlands did she come, of cornflowers, nettles, daisies, and long purples, that liberal shepherds do give a grosser name to, but our cold maids do dead men's fingers call them. There, on the pendant boughs, her cornet weeds clambering to hang, an envious sliver broke, and when down her weeping trophies and herself fell in the brook. Her clothes spread wide, and mermaid-like a while they bore her up, on which time she chanted snatches of old tunes, as one incapable of her own distress, or like a creature native and endued unto that element. But long it could not be till that her garments, heavy with their drink, pulled the poor wretch from her melodious lay to muddy death.
Alas, then she is drowned?
Drowned, Laertes. Drowned.
Too much of water, hast thou, poor Ophelia. Therefore I forbid my tears. Adieu, my lord. I have a speech of fire that fain would blaze, but that this fully doubts it.
Let's follow, Gertrude. How much I had to do to calm his rage. Now fear I this will give it start again. Therefore let's follow.
What ceremony else? What ceremony else? What ceremony else?
Her obsequies have been as far enlarged as we have warranties. Her death was doubtful. And but that great command o'ersways the order, she should in ground unsanctified have lodged to the last trumpet. For charitable prayers, shards, flints, and pebbles should be thrown on her. Yet here she is allowed her virgin rites, her maid instruments, and the bringing home of bell and burial.
Must there no more be done?
No more be done. We should profane the service of the dead, to sing a requiem and such rest to her as to peace-parted souls.
Lay her in the earth, and from her fair and unpolluted flesh may violets spring. I tell thee, churlish priest, a ministering angel shall my sister be when thou liest howling.
Sweets to the sweet. Farewell. I hope thou shouldst have been my Hamlet's wife. I thought thy bride bed to have decked, sweet maid, and not have strewed thy grave.
Treble woe. Full 10 times treble on that cursed head whose wicked deed thy most ingenious sense deprived thee of. Hold off the earth a while, till I have caught her once more in mine arms. Now, pile your dust upon the quick and the dead, till off this flat mountain you have made, to o'er top old Pelion, or the skyish head of blue Olympus. The devil take thy soul!
Pluck them asunder.
You Hamlet! Hamlet!
The devil, thou prayest not well, I pray thee. Take thy fingers from my throat.
Pluck them asunder, I say.
Oh, Hamlet, Hamlet!
I loved Ophelia. 40,000 brothers could not, with all their quantity of love, make up my sum. What wilt thou do for her?
Oh, she is mad, Laertes.
Oh, for the love of God, forbear her!
Oh, to show me what thou do, what thou weep, what thou fight, what thou fast, what thou tear thyself, what thou drink a easel, eat a crocodile. I'll do it. Dost thou come here to whine, to outface me with leaping in her grave? Be buried quick with her, and so will I.
Oh, God, this is mere madness.
Hear you, sir. What is the reason that you use me thus? I loved you ever, but it is no matter. Let Hercules himself do what he may. The cat will mew, the dog will have his day.
You will lose this wager, my lady.
I do not think so. Since he went to France, I've been in continual practice. I shall win at the odds. But thou wouldst not think how all else here, but my heart. But it is no matter.
If your mind dislike anything, obey it. I will forestall their repair hither and say you are not fit.
Not a whit. We defy augury. There is a special providence in the fall of a sparrow. If it be now, 'tis not to come. If it be not to come, it will be now.
Come, Hamlet, and take Laertes' hand from me.
Give me your pardon, sir. I have done you wrong. But pardon it as you are a gentleman. Let my disclaiming from a purposed evil free me so far in your inmost generous thoughts, that I have shot my arrow o'er the house that hurt my brother.
I am satisfied in nature. I do receive your offered love like love, and will not wrong it.
I embrace it freely. And will this my brother's wager frankly play? Give us the foils. Come on.
Come, one for me.
I'll be your foil, Laertes. In mine ignorance, your skill shall, like a star in the darkest night, stick fiery off indeed.
You mock me, lady.
No, by this hand.
Give them the foils. Hamlet, you know the wager?
Very well, my lord. Your grace has laid the odds on the weaker side.
This is too heavy. Let me see another.
This likes me well. These foils all have all the length.
Aye, my good lady.
Set me the stoops of wine upon that table. Now, the king drinks to Hamlet. Come, begin, and you, the judges, bear a wary eye.
Come on, sir.
Come, my lord.
1.
No.
A hit. A very palpable hit.
Well, again.
Stay. Give me drink. Hamlet, this pearl is thine. Here's to thy health. Give her the cup.
I'll play but this bout first. Set it by a while. Come, another hit. What say you?
A touch, I do confess.
Our lady shall win.
She's scant of breath. Here, Hamlet, take my napkin, rub thy brows. The queen carouses to thy fortunes, Hamlet.
Good madam.
Gertrude, do not drink.
Oh, I will, my lord. I pray you pardon me.
Oh, 'tis a poisoned cup, it is too late.
I do not dare drink yet, madam. By and by.
Oh, come, and let me wipe thy face.
My lord, I'll hit her now.
Do not think it.
Come for a third, Laertes. You but dally, I pray you passed with your best violence. I am afear you make a wanton of me.
Say you so. Come on. Have at you now. Ah!
Oh no. I'm wounded. Have at you now.
I'm struck.
Not them. They are incensed.
Nay, come again.
Look to the queen there, ho!
They bleed on both sides. How is it, my lady?
How is it, Laertes?
Why, as a woodcock to my own springe, I'm justly killed with mine own treachery.
How does the queen?
She swoons to see them bleed.
No, no. It's the drink. The drink. Dear Hamlet, 'tis the drink. I am poisoned.
Oh, villainy. Ho! Let the doors be locked. Treachery! Seek it out!
It is here, Hamlet. Thou art slain. No medicine in the world can do thee good. In thee, there's not half an hour of life. The treacherous instrument is in thy hand, unbaited and envenomed. The foul practice that turned itself on me, lo, here I lie, never to rise again. Thy mother's poisoned. I can no more. The king is to blame.
The point in venom too. Then venom to thy work!
Treason! Treason!
Friends, I am but head.
Here, thou incestuous murderous damned Dane, drink of this poison. Take thy union here. Follow my mother.
Oh!
He is justly served. It is a poison tempered by himself. Exchange forgiveness with me, noble Hamlet. Mine and my mother's death come not upon thee, nor thine on me.
Heaven make thee free of it. I will follow thee. I am dead Horatio. Oh, good Horatio, what a wounded name. Things standing thus unknown shall live behind me. If thou didst ever hold me in thy heart, absent thee from felicity a while, and in this harsh world draw thy breath in pain and tell my story.
Now cracks a noble heart. Good night, sweet princess, and flights of angels sing thee to thy rest.
Hamlet Now is a production by the No Regrets Theatre Company and Playhouse 2020.
The play was edited and condensed by J.P. Crabb.
Hamlet was played by Jannelly Avelaine.
Horatio was played by Molly Jackman. Happy birthday, Molly.
Claudius and the Ghost were played by Henry Graham Murray.
Gertrude was played by Marcia French.
Laertes was played by Deniz Himmetoglu.
Ophelia was played by Susannah Dixon.
Polonius was played by Paula K.
Rosencrantz was played by Frey Bendele.
Guildenstern was played by Rose Collins.
Bernardo and the Priest was played by Dave Sharp.
Marcellus and Osric were played by Samantha Ross.
Our technical director was Austin Downs.
Our producer was Molly Jackman. Once again, happy birthday.
And the play was directed by Henry Graham Murray.
The audience were played by you. Thank you for your excellent performance.
We are staging live performances again tomorrow and Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Pacific time. Our Saturday matinee is at 3 p.m. Eastern and 12 noon Pacific.
See you then.
See you then.